racing up towards the line. Masar by 2 lengths to Roaring Lion and DXB, and it's Masar's Investec Derby for Godolphin.
Well, no matter which way you look at it, there's always something special about a Derby winner. It is the race, and here's a Derby winner by a Derby winner by a Derby winner, because he's Masar by New Approach, and he won the Derby for Charlie Appleby in the Godolphin Blue. Peter Stanley's with me, of New England Stud, and Peter, you're a big fan of this horse, Masar. Just tell me why.
He's kind of, in some ways, he's a bit of a breeder's dream. We all historically wanted to use Derby winners, but he's an old-fashioned Derby winner in that he's got the speed, he was hard race, that sort of thing. And he had and has many different talents. Breeders nowadays, commercially, we've got to use horses that are 2-year-olds, that are precocious, and he's got it all. He's not one of those backward Derby winners. He was unusual, he was an impressive winner early on. He was able to run at Royal Ascot as a 2-year-old. He's a group winner over 7 furlongs. So he's exactly the kind of horse that we'd like to use, because he's capable of getting us a classic winner, but he should be commercial in the sales ring, which is what really excites us, as well as breeding a good horse.
He's standing with Chris here today here at Dalham Hall, and I know, Chris, you're not the tallest, but this is a big horse. He's a proper unit.
He is. He's very robust, as you can see, very well built. The power from behind is immense, Nick. So, really pleasure to do him.
And Peter, when you're coming to look at these stallions and you see a horse who's got his height, presumably you want all the dimensions to match that height.
Yeah, we want the depth, we want the power behind the saddle, we need the bone, and I was really pleasantly surprised to see just how good looking he was when I first came to see him. He's an athletic horse, he's a great walker. Normally, we're having to give up on something, because if you're trying to be commercial, can you afford the top prices? So normally you can't have racing performance and conformation and the pedigree, but this horse has actually got it all. I mean, Urban Sea needs no introduction. She's been probably the greatest broodmare of all times, in my opinion. Her influence on the breed is going to be quite extraordinary going on, you know, with See the Stars and Galileo. So to find a horse here, descended from a mare like that, with looks like this, who was a 2-year-old group winner, who was able to thrash the opposition in the Craven over a mile, and then go on and win a derby and go to stud for £15,000. Frankly, I couldn't get enough of him.
Yeah,
that was the nub of it, is we could afford to use him. You know, I suspect if he'd retired a year earlier, he wouldn't have been so affordable. But us breeders have short memories, and you know, his 4-year-old career wasn't such a success. So that was actually for the benefit, in some ways, of the horse and the rest of us, is we've been able to afford to use him. But I think a lot of the sensible breeders have got in and made use of him. He was £15,000 his first year, £14,000 this year, and the reports on the foals are very, very good, talking to other people. So I think he's a horse to be excited about. So Nick, he's got that great length of stride, which I think is, you know, so important. When we go to the yearling sales, obviously everybody will be wanting to see a good walker, and he's got that. The thing I particularly love about this horse as a Derby winner is that he had the speed and precocity to go with it. You know, historically, obviously being a Derby winner is the most important thing for a stallion, but in this modern world we live in, increasingly people are wanting speed, and so to have the combination of the speed with the Derby winner bit is exciting. I think there's something almost rather tragic about now when a horse wins the Derby. Everybody feels they've got to bring him back to 10 furlongs to prove that he's that he's not a stare and that he's more commercial and that sort of thing. And it's something that in racing, if we're going to keep England's heritage and what British racing and European racing is all about and not go the Australian route, we've got to use horses like this, because if we don't use these kind of horses, we're going to lose the stamina gene, which is all important. Speed and stamina, this is what we want.